Just when I thought Pitt fans couldn't do anything dumber, they go and do something like this and totally don't redeem themselves. What are they doing, man? Believing this fake skit, believing that West Virginia somehow is a dangerous place to go? Make it make sense.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking about the Mountaineers and them low-some, low-down, four-letter word, the worst word in the English language, ESP, the whole nine. We're talking about them too today. And a question I pose to you, my great friends, is the Pitt fan base the world's dumbest fan base? That's the question. It's rhetorical. It answers itself. We're going to watch the tape, baby. We're going to check out a couple other guys that I'm looking to this year. And then I'll have my final thoughts, which could be anything. Maybe we'll talk about Pitt again. But I was scrolling on X earlier, and I was thinking about shutting it down for the night until I saw this. We'll share a screen with you. This is from Reginald Beanstalk, who is, I mean, look how he looks on here. I'm sure that probably not really him, but he is a Pitt fan that is playing a video of a West Virginia fan doing this. I'll explain more in a minute.
25 times. Oh, shit. Go eat shit. I'm a West Virginia Go eat fan. Shit. This is embarrassing. Go eat shit. Go eat shit.
So a drunk West Virginia fan is harassing this Pitt fan, correct? Is at least how it looks on the surface. When in reality, this is a YouTuber who has millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of views. Like I'm not even exaggerating here. This kid is absolutely, totally viral. He's very easy to recognize. And I remember when he did this. This is like 2 years old now or something. But what he does is his whole thing is he's like one of those IRL YouTubers that goes and dresses up as the opposing fan base and then goes to home games. And then especially if the home team loses, he basically peppers them with all kinds of different antagonistic things that he does, right? And he causes reactions, and then he films it and puts it on YouTube, and people go, ha, 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 look how stupid those people are. In this context, though, this guy's posting this, West Virginia fans, Pitt fans act like it's such a bad experience to come to Morgantown. We are actually really nice to everyone, and then also West Virginia fans, and he posts this video. Leave it to a guy like this. And by the way, this has 164,000 views. So it's substantial. There are hundreds of comments on it. Obviously a lot of them are West Virginia fans getting them down the road for it. But there are also a bunch of Pitt fans that are in agreement with this take. My thing is it comes from one place. It comes from young Patrick Narduzzi, right? Who I always talk. That's his name now, by the way, young Patrick Narduzzi. So if you want to go back and look, you can go look at Neil Brown's first tenure, or not his first tenure, his early in his tenure, and listen to some of the things that Pat Narduzzi has said. And it starts to make a little bit of sense. Like, oh, okay, he's conditioned this fan base to believe that this is a dangerous place to go. It makes a little more sense now. I've got the entire spiel basically because I've got a comprehensive list of some bullet points that I've typed out that detail at different times Pat Narduzzi's comments about West Virginia. It's fans, right? Like talking about us. And specifically, we're going to focus on remarks about the atmosphere, our fan behavior, the backyard brawl rivalry, and all that because I've done this show recently for a different reason, but I just love wrecking on Narduzzi so much. I have no problem doing this one again. And Go back to September 2nd, 2022. After Pitt's 38-31 win over West Virginia in the backyard brawl, Narduzzi took a subtle jab at Neil Brown's decision to punt on fourth down late in the game. He suggested he would have gone for it, framing Pitt as the more aggressive team in the rivalry. It's not directly about West Virginia and the fans, but it did set the tone for his trash talking, which is what he kind of loves to do. If you remember, after the loss in 22, he expressed displeasure about the team's escort into the stadium, said it was chaotic and an unwelcome treatment. He also said that the comment that they basically had walked out and had in full pads and helmets because they were afraid of batteries being thrown at them. And, you know, he's still laying the groundwork, in my opinion, about how they feel about the dangers of Morgantown. June 2nd, 2023, he went on 93.7 The Fan morning show as Pat from Pittsburgh, and he took shots at West Virginia fans and Morgantown's atmosphere. And he said Pitt fans would rather go to the zoo than travel to Morgantown due to how they're treated down there, implying that it's a hostile environment and undesirable treatment. He said, quote, "From all the stories I've heard, there's a lot of older Pitt fans that are like, I'm not going down to that place. The zoo is a more welcoming place than down there." So if you don't know any better, would this not make you think, oh, wow, that maybe I should better be ready for a rowdy environment if I go down there? In that same radio appearance, he said, wear your hard hats and get ready to go. It'll be a little different style than the class in Pittsburgh. I mean, this is the kind of uppity stuff that he says, saying that we lack class. He continued to talk about zoos and hard hats in other press conferences where he's, discussing the rivalry's history. It's just insane, man. The narrative around his comments have led to speculation among their own fans now because he's exaggerated past incidents. Batteries were thrown in the 80s and earlier. And unfortunately, that still follows us around. And I understand that we do earn some of this. But it's like, come on, dude. This is 2025. There's just cameras everywhere. Like, nothing like this is really happening anymore. Obviously, he trolled Neil Brown after his tweet after the Pitt bye week. And then Pitt lost 6 straight games in a row. Well, man, that was probably some of the best karma I've ever seen. And West Virginia fans definitely let him hear about it. He definitely let him hear about it. If you look back in June, he said, there's a lot of hate in this rivalry, especially from the other side. I've been around a lot of rivalries, but the hate that West Virginia has for Pitt, the disrespect to me, sometimes it's not clean, he said. Continuing to harp on this, also, he doesn't like to eat shit Pitt chant, right? Saying that we cross lines into disrespect, and he's claiming that Pitt fans would avoid Morgantown due to the hostility, and once again painting West Virginia as overly aggressive, right? On another appearance in 93.7 A Fan, he commented on the Backyard Brawl's 3:30 p.m. kickoff, saying they'll probably be less liquored up, probably less likely to throw a full beer can at you on the field. Hopefully they'll still be interested in drinking it first, and maybe it's an empty one. Another tongue-in-cheek jab at West Virginia fans saying they're going to throw something, right? ACC Media Days. He said it again. There's a lot of hate in this rivalry, especially from the other side. Once again, the hate that West Virginia has for Pitt and the disrespect to me is what makes this a rivalry. At least he said it's a rivalry that time. So zoo animals, unsafe atmosphere, batteries, helmets and pads, and now you've got fans playing a skit from a YouTuber where he antagonizes our fans, waits till the reactions are volatile, and then clicks it and posts it out of context on YouTube for people's viewership. And that's what this guy is using to basically frame up a lot of the things that Narduzzi has leaned into. So do I support this guy touching him? How do I know he's not paid? I don't know that. right? Like, I truly don't know that. More than likely, he probably isn't. I don't like that he touched him, but it's not like he beat him up or anything like that. He's a drunk guy. This guy was antagonizing our fans, and that's it, right? But I definitely don't approve of, if this is an actual altercation, I definitely don't approve of, him getting in his face and touching him, whether he's a YouTuber or not. I'm not going to defend it, but overall point is this, man. There's a reason that their allotment of tickets weren't sold last week and that West Virginia fans were allowed to buy them up. And that's because their fans have been conditioned to believe that it's dangerous to come to Morgantown, whether people want to believe this or not. That's just the way it is, man. So at the end of the day, Pitt fans are scared to come to Morgantown because their head guy believes a bunch of malarkey and lies. So it is what it is, man. Like I said, you got a guy here in Reginald Beanstalk that has a comment with almost 200,000 views on a fake YouTube video. A YouTube video where this guy gets millions of views antagonizing fans. That's what he goes out and does, and he films it. And now all their fans are believing it. So it's no shock that this is the dumbest fan base in the country. It's no shock that they believe this kind of stuff. And it's no shock that their head coach is as dumb as he is. So at the end of the day, when West Virginia absolutely stomps the guts totally out of Pitt on 9/13, I'm gonna laugh so hard. I'm gonna laugh so heartily. I'm gonna enjoy it so much, and I am not going to leave any stone unturned. Every Pitt fan that I know will be unblocked. They'll be unmuted, whatever it is. I don't think I have any blocked, but I have a couple muted. The one guy that was putting my phone number out there is one. Markets and Moto. At the end of the day, brother, you're here clicking on my video. So your opinion to me does not define me or matter to me, bro. Just Google me. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we get on to the next one, guys. Let's go to break. And we'll go ahead and talk about some West Virginia football now. Can only talk about this one so much, right? I mean, it's idiocy. It's just the stupidity of it all. Sometimes it's hard to grasp, but we try. These Pitt fans are something else, though. We'll be right back on Locked On West Virginia. We got a couple underdogs to talk about next. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by FanDuel, y'all. And we're talking about FanDuel on this one because, well, for several reasons, honestly, but none bigger than FanDuel football and the like. It's right around the corner, as we well know. And August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week one, even kicks off, this is your moment. This is your moment. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now, because day is one day. It's only one day. You only get one day for this, right? You can only do it at FanDuel. Might as well go ahead and play your game. And it's segment 2. Let's crack a do and talk a little bit about West Virginia football now. I like West Virginia football. Oh, man. So I'm interested. I don't know. I think there's a few guys on this team that I haven't discussed a lot. We did one earlier, Max Brown. There's a couple other guys, obviously, that definitely need some recognition that probably hadn't gotten much or enough, then in my opinion. So what we'll do is we'll pull up the roster here and can I talk about one or two of those guys for the rest of the show? And, we did this earlier and had a little bit of fun with it. We talked about Max Brown for a little bit. I think he's got great arm talent, man. I loved his arm talent. He's one of the most talented dudes on the roster, to be honest. It's just his decision making has been his downfall. 6 interceptions last year and only 93 attempts at Charlotte. That's got to improve, but his arm talent alone is just so good. So there you see Justin Harrington is on the roster. That's important, right? We're glad to see that. Does that mean Jeff Weimer's on the roster now? Is he officially on the roster? Let's see. I didn't even pay attention to this, y'all, today. But I mean, that would be big news if he is. Wide receivers. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Tyshawn Dews, Jordan McCants, Omatosho, Cyrus Traw, Noah Braham. So those are slot guys. There's some more, should be more receivers than that. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Cam Pittsford. Everything's all okay. I guess I don't have it separated by position like I thought I did. It's by jersey. My apologies, y'all. A lot of times the jerseys, will do enough because a lot of receivers' numbers are a little bit higher up there, but in this case, I guess not. So, nope, no Weimer is on there yet, unfortunately. I'm sure he will be before long, and we'll just continue to monitor it. But, yeah, this is an interesting scenario for sure with Weimer. But because, man, we watched his tape the other day and was absolutely blown away by the route running. I mean, it is what it is with him. Okay, so on to another guy that I think we haven't talked about a lot. And we saw a video of him with Max Brown just earlier. So I thought, you know what? Whenever he first came to West Virginia, he's got some impressive stuff going on. He really does. So what we'll do is we're going to pull up Jordan McCants, a wide receiver that maybe doesn't get a lot of publicity for a few reasons. He doesn't have a lot of statistics coming over from Jack State. But if you want to talk about talent, he does have that. And is a guy that I think has a chance to produce at West Virginia. This wide receiver room goes so deep. It really does. Now, I don't know if it's going to be his year this year, but it's coming, man. This kid's got some ability to him. We just saw him make a play in practice the other day. Wow, his highlights and stuff are gone off here. But we do have a couple on here. That's a nice play there from him. He had his Jack State stuff on here at one point. I don't know where it happened to it. These are really old. That's high school. Maybe he's one of those guys that has an under the replies. It's possible that his are gone too. It's weird how, you know what? It does make sense now that I think of it. The Jack State guys, a lot of their stuff is gone because of Rich Rod's offense. I don't know. But I mean, this dude had a lot of his practice. He had his practice highlights up. I know for sure. Let me go to my messages with him. Maybe I've got some messages from him. Nope. I don't know, guys. I thought there were more Jordan McCants tape out there than that. So I apologize. We'll move on. I wanted to show you guys a couple things because he's one of those slot guys that is really, really he's a fluid runner. He's got some speed to him, but we don't have time to check him out, unfortunately. We'll move on over to there's a couple guys to want to look at. I guess who haven't I shown you guys in a while? Obviously we've looked at offensive line wise. We've looked at Carson Lee. We've looked at Walter Young Bear. We know what Nick Cray did last year. How about, I don't think Isosa's got anything up on his page, unfortunately, Oklahoma. But Kimo Macaniole doesn't have anything up either on his page at LSU, or I would love to watch that. We've definitely watched our fair share of Young Bear, but it's been a while, so we'll go ahead and check him out again. As somebody I'm a big fan of from a tape standpoint, he's exactly what Rich Rod Rod needs in his offense as a run blocker, and he's a dude, man. He's a really good player, as you'll see in this tape here at Tulsa. He's a strong run blocker. This is what he does. He's a mauler. And I do think that he will be good at West Virginia in this role. I think he's a left guard, and then Macaniole is at right guard. But check him out here playing a little left guard, and he's an absolute mauler here. Snap. And as you can see, his initial punch, really good, right? It's one step. You can see that one step, and then look at that initial punch. He gets right up underneath him, and then right straight down to the ground they go. This is a similar play. He just washes him out. Nicely done here in pass pro. As you can see, he's just looking for a guy to hit. Once again, one-on-one pass pro, looking pretty good. And then taking a guy all the way upfield and dumping him. You like to see that. Another great pass pro opportunity for him. So he wins a lot of these one-on-one pass rushing battles for sure, and he takes this all the way to the ground. He likes to be nasty with it. So there's a lot to like about Walter Youngbear. He's, I think, a better run blocker, but I mean he's not a bad pass blocker either. But it'll be interesting to see the kind of push this offensive line can get with the 5 that they've chosen. It's a definitely. This is a great play from my opinion of his. You get to see some of why he's at guard. He's the agility on display here, how he's able to cut off this safety. Does a really good job of getting ahead of him and sealing a lane, and then just taking it all the way out of bounds. I mean, that's what you want to see right there, right through the whistle. And then if you want to have him double team a guy and move up to the backer, he can do that too. So he's a versatile guard. He can do a bunch of different stuff. He's a guy that, I think is going to make a difference on this offensive line as a starter. Definitely one of the 7 offensive linemen. Maybe that's what we can do. And there he is snapping a little bit. So he can do a little bit of everything. But yeah, obviously Walter Youngbear is a guy that we're going to need a major production out of. We're going to need him to be as good as he was at Tulsa, if not a little better. And that's what we're hoping for, because I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the way he plays ball for sure. So Walter Youngbear, big time player that we got out of the portal, and we're definitely going to keep checking him out. But here's what I think we can do. Let's look at that offensive line room really quick. Let's see. Actually, let's go to break first. We'll go to break first. We'll come back and we'll look and talk about who the top 7 offensive linemen are. I'm pretty sure I know the starting 5. I'll be shocked if I'm wrong about it at this point, but you never know. They could have some trick up their sleeve, but we'll talk about it next. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Rougiette Ready. We talk about Rougiette Ready, guys, for multiple reasons, and you probably heard of it. Why? Viagra, there's Cialis. Hell, maybe you've even tried them yourself, but if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Ready. Rougiette Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rougiette's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked for you, Rougiette might be your answer. Over 150,000 men have made the switch already. Head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege. And don't forget the promo code LockedOnCollege for 15% off. Don't forget, individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law. but are not FDA approved and really do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Regiet website for full safety information. All right, guys, we're back here in Locked On West Virginia in segment 3, heading back over to the roster to check out the O-line. I think we've got a great grasp on who the starting 5 are. In my opinion, obviously you've got Nick Cray, who is going to be starting over at left tackle as a sophomore. This is big, I think, for the future of the program. This guy can develop, I think, into a really good player. He's 6'6", 316. He's big enough. Hopefully he's strong enough by now. But, yeah, big fan of Nick Cray. Definitely think he's got a huge, great future ahead of him if he's going to able to be starting and beat out a guy like Ogbo, who came over from Texas. That says a lot about Nick Cray for sure. Walter Youngbear, obviously at left guard, I think will start, and definitely deserving of that. Although I do think Carson Lee is the next in the slot at either guard spot. You've got Kuma Makaniole at right guard. I think you got Walter Youngbear at left guard. And I think you have Carson Lee as the backup to either one of those guys. And center. I think he's probably their first backup for all 3 of those spots, in my opinion. At the tackles, you're going to have Tykees Crawford, who is a redshirt senior, 6'5", 324 pounds. And you got Xavier Bosley, who I think backs up both tackle spots. That's going to be your first tackle off the bench, and he's going to play a ton of snaps this year as well. And I'm looking forward to Xavier's. I'm going to see how he does. I think before the year's over, he's going to make his case to be a full-time starter, but maybe the guys we have are that good. So obviously, and then at center, we can't forget our guy Landon Livingston, who is our center. His immediate backup obviously is going to be probably we already talked about him on multiple spots, but Carson Lee will be the backup center for sure. That's his number 1 backup spot. And then I'm guessing he'll back up guard spots as well. But we have a couple other guys that can do that. But the top 7 or 8 guys that are probably for me are Tykees Crawford, Xavier Bosley. That's your first and second string right tackle. If you go to right guard, you've got Kimo Makaniole, and then you've probably got – it's hard to say who's backing up right guard. It could be any number of guys, because a lot of these starters are going to be the first backup in other spots as well. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, but I'll move on to center, and that's Landon Livingston. Obviously, his backup, in my opinion, will be Carson Lee. At the left guard spot, you've got Walter Youngbear. And then, there are a couple guys, Cooper Young, guys like that to look at. Obviously, Robbie Martin's still early in his career, Philip Bowser. There's a few guys that I think can definitely possibly crack that top 7 or 8. And then, last but not least, Malik Ogbo. I think he's definitely in those top 7 or 8 guys. So, it's definitely a unique offensive line. It's all their first year playing together. Hopefully they get the right 5 out right from the jump, and that's where it stays all year, and we can have 7 or 8 guys all year. That'll make this offensive line a force to be reckoned with for sure, but it has to work out that way, and we're praying that it does, because this is definitely going to be a big deal. Earslink, hey, yeah, absolutely, no problem. Let me get this off the screen for a second. Earslink, would love to wish your daughter Katie a happy 15th birthday. I know that permits coming right down the pike for her, so I'm assuming you're going to be in that car, whichever car you decide to help her get, and riding around with her. Don't make sure you bug Earslink to make sure you get a great new car. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. And happy birthday to Katie. So appreciate the question, though. That was sweet. All right. One other position room, and then we'll jump off here for the night. We talked about the pass rush a lot, but you know what we haven't talked about a lot? Defensive line, man. And I just got to be honest with y'all. No problem, man. Anytime. I'm always, anytime you need me, I'm here for you. You know, Elijah Simmons. I talked about him when he first committed to West Virginia. He is somebody that if I had to rank people that are under the radar, he's right there in my top 2 or 3. Not many people know about him, and it's not because he's not any good. I can promise you that. You can see here he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plates. Watch him do this. I would love to have that on, but the music. All right, we'll hear it for a second here after he goes down. Wow. That's pretty impressive, man. That's a lot of weight, guys. A lot of weight. I don't even know. I guess the bar would be 45. Is that how many plates is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it looks like one of those plates are bigger than the rest, or 2 of them are. I can't tell if those are 45s and 35s or I can't really tell, but it's a lot of weight. Elijah Simmons, this is his tape from his 2025 JUCO season. I've told you guys before, he is a very good defensive lineman, and I think will absolutely be in the major rotation for West Virginia this year, and has a chance to be one of our best defensive linemen. I really believe that. Here he is right here standing up, right alongside the right defensive end. And you'll see right away, like, he is not just your typical he's not your typical run stop and like run plugging up the lanes, slower defensive tackle. He's got a little bit of movement to him, and he's got a little agility to his game. I kind of liken him to TJ Jackson a little bit. He's not anywhere near as fast or explosive as TJ, but he's got that in his game. But he's also got the ability as a big nose tackle to clog lanes up. So he does both really well, as you'll see here. Boom, sack and a fumble. Not bad there. They didn't even block him, I don't think. So that was pretty easy for him to do. Here we go again. As you can see, just a great job, number 94, of not getting blocked, basically. That's all that was, right? Like, if you look, this guy's job was to turn him in. This is him right here. His job was to turn him in, and he just wasn't letting it happen, right? And then you shed the block, and you get over there, and you make the play. Nice job there, too. He's got a couple wow plays on this like big wow plays on here. Here he is again. Nice little under rush. I mean, that's a beautiful pass rush move. So for a defensive tackle, if you got a guy that can do this, you're in good shape. And that's a pretty pass rush move. Now, the guy dropped the ball as well, so, I think that probably affected it quite a bit. Here he is on this side now. And look at that, man. It's one of my favorite plays that he has on the tape as well, because the leverage he gets. Watch him get up underneath the left shoulder pad of the guard and just shove him out of the way, which is called shedding the blocks, and getting to the ball carrier. See how low he gets? I mean, it looks like he's about to go head first into him. And now look at him. He's up underneath him, disrupting his blocking, sheds him, and gets the ball. That's the kind of guy that is effective at the defensive tackle spot. You get low, you get under guys. It's very important. There it is again, same kind of play, right? He's got that right arm, and he just clubs dudes out of the way. Watch him club this guy out of the way to get over there. Get off me. Nice play. Once again, back up towards the top. And then he did it from the inside that time. And he still made the play. So, like, he is a tough guy to get a hold of. And he's elusive for a guy his size. This time he uses the right shoulder to dip under. Watch how smooth it looks. Just a little quick dip under, and then uses that power to push on through. It's nice. It's good stuff, man. Here he is again on the left guard, and that's just an excellent play by him. I mean, you talk about manhandling somebody. You're manhandling this left guard here. Watch him just shed him off. Get off me. No chance. Yeah, here he is again, same place. And just, gosh, he is a bulldozer, man. Look at that play. A diving sack. Are you kidding me? Well, he threw the ball away, but I mean, he literally, if you're watching this or listen to this on radio, he dives over top of a cutting running back who's trying to cut his legs out and flies like Superman through the air and grabs the quarterback. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, look at him. He's literally horizontal. That's a crazy play, man. That's a fun one to watch by him for sure. And then the more you watch, you think, man, he's a tough dude to guard. Like, here he goes again. Watch him get by the D tackle or the O lineman. Boom, get off me. Coming for you. Great play. So a lot to like with Elijah. I think he's a very, very underrated player in this year's class. So definitely keep an eye on him, Elijah Simmons, as we come into the season. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to make a list of some unsung guys for tomorrow probably. There's a lot of guys that I'm just basing it off tape. Now, I'm learning still as a hobbyist, as somebody that watches tape a lot. I'm still learning how to project up, right? Like you see him dominating all these guys. I don't know how to project it up like effectively. So, and maybe I'm not going to be able to, but based on what I've watched of him, I really do expect him to do well. So we'll see. I've heard good things about him. So we'll definitely check it out later on. After Robert Morris, we'll have a lot of tape to watch. It'll be exciting. Thank you guys so much for joining in. I will be back tomorrow to bring you more news on the Mountaineers. Hopefully we get some Jamori Robinson updates soon, but that'll probably be Monday. And Jeff Weimer as well. Two crucial pieces to the team. But, man, like I said, at day's end, we are really stoked about the future of this team. The way things can go for us in year one, I think could be really good. It could be a good season. We just have to keep trusting and watching and hoping some of these players actually work out like I think they will. If they do, by week 3, watch out. Until then, guys, this episode's over, and I'm out of here. Oh, by the way, thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen. Check out Locked On Portal as well. They do an excellent job over there. Brian Smith, one of the best on the radio. He does incredible radio numbers. Make sure you check him out, guys, and I'll see you guys later. Good night.